Tulsa, Oklahoma. As the results trickle in, a patrol officer hears gunfire at an apartment complex on the south side.
Detectives arrive to the scene. Patrol tells them about 6 rounds went off. Everyone was saying someone got hit with the ooh-whop. In the walkway, they find the victim, hit several times. He was rushed to the hospital, and he's identified as 39-year-old Carl Harris, also known as Duke. They find his shirt and some other clothing as they're investigating the scene. They also find casings and holes inside the wall of an apartment. They find 2 more casings on the living room floor and 3 more in the bedroom. So Detective White found a woman whom rents the apartment where the incident took place. She agrees to come down to the station. Then patrol locates the victim's girlfriend in the parking lot, and she witnessed everything. So they bring her down to the station also. They start with Duke's girlfriend. She said her and Duke was in the house, and he let Courtney use their gold Monte Carlo. So Courtney goes to those apartments and come back without the car. So Duke asks, "Where's my car?" Courtney says someone took the keys from him. So Duke asks her to take him over there to get his car. So they pull up, see the car sitting there. She was curious as to why they took the keys but not the car. So Courtney showed them the apartment.
Carl started knocking on the door like that. He was knocking. Once the guy opened the door, I don't even know what was said. But Carl walked inside the house. And I said, okay, well, he must gonna give him the keys. And all of a sudden, I just hear gunshots.
Her and Courtney took off running. Then she turned back around and saw Duke walking out of the apartment slow. He said he was hit with the ooh-whop. And then he collapsed. Then she gets a call from the hospital saying Duke is in stable condition. So they end that interview, punch Courtney Palmer into the computer. They're already familiar with him. He's 23 years old, has a history of assault and traffic violations. So they have patrol look out for Courtney and began interviewing the woman from the apartment. She said that it was 5 kids along with her cousin, and her friend in the apartment, and she heard someone kicking at the door, talking about some keys. They ran in the bathroom, and the next thing she know, the ooh-whop went off. Detective White asked what guy was over there. She said none. She said that she never knew who fired the ooh-whop because she was hiding. Then White gets a call from the hospital saying that Courtney Palmer just showed up. So they let the woman from the apartment go. Even though she's withholding information, they can't hold her. Now Courtney shows up. First thing he do is ask for a cigarette. Detective White asked him to relax. Courtney said he can't because he has ADHD bipolar.
I gotta walk back and forth because I'm ADHD bipolar. Carl was just trying to help me. He went in the house for me. And I wanted to prove to that I did not set him up.
So White asked him why did he go over there to the apartments. He gave the name of the woman who took the keys. He said Duke knocked on the door and a guy answered saying that he has kids in there. Everybody pushed their way to the back room and a ooh-whop went off. Then Courtney asked White,
"And I want you to put me on GPS. Can you give me a GPS?"
"Why do you need a GPS?"
"So these motherfuckers won't come down there, kid."
Or at least can he get him to California? So they give Courtney his cigarette and something to eat. Then he tells White a guy named Teddy hit Duke with the ooh-whop. White steps out, punch Teddy into the computer, take a photo in of Courtney, and he says that's Teddy. But because Courtney haven't took his medicine, they can't go after Teddy based on what he said. So they release Courtney and try to find the woman who took the keys. They make contact with her, and she comes to the station. She states that Courtney has kids with her old friend. That's how she know him. She was visiting the woman in the apartments where Duke was hit when she saw Courtney come through in the gold Monte Carlo swerving like he was on something. When he parked and got out, she snatched the keys from him and told him to get them back when he sober up. Then she left. Hours later, she heard about what happened, and she feels bad because if she wouldn't have took the keys, nothing would have went down. So they wrap that interview up. It seems like a misunderstanding. So White gets a call from a guy saying that he was in the apartment when Duke was hit. He shows up to the station and says that he hit Duke with the ooh-whop. They asked him what happened. He said he walked into his apartment. By the time he locked his door, someone was kicking on it. They asked him, did he know Teddy? He said no, but he heard his room window get busted out. He opened the door halfway and told Duke that he has kids in there. What's the problem? Duke said F the kids and barged in. He said that he never saw Duke before, so he grabbed a ooh-whop and let loose. So they end their interview and let the DA decide if it's self-defense.
I really knew that I didn't do nothing wrong. If I could press for one, I would shoot, but I would have stayed. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So while waiting for that decision, a Crime Stopper tip comes in saying Courtney may have been taken out in the bathroom of a house in Tulsa for retaliation of Duke. So they reach out to Courtney's mom. She said that she's worried because he calls her every day, and he hasn't called his sister also. So they turn to the media.
Detectives say a witness to a recent shooting has disappeared. Investigators say Courtney Palmer hasn't been seen or heard from for 8 days.
Then heads to the house of the tipster. They take her to the station for questioning. She says Charletha said Courtney came over a couple days ago after the incident with Duke. Charletha wanted to get him under the influence to get information from Courtney. But every time she asked, "Where is Courtney?" Charletha said no one has to worry about that anymore. So Detective White gives her his number and tell her to call them if she hear anything else. Release her and look up Charletha. She's 39 years old with multiple convictions for harboring a fugitive and larceny. They get a search warrant and head to Charletha's house. Make contact, then head directly to the bathroom where they said the incident took place. They see signs of a struggle, so they take Charletha, her son, and her son's girlfriend to the station for questioning. So they start with the son's girlfriend, Janetta. They ask her, does she know Courtney? She said yes, the last time she seen him was 3 weeks ago. So White asks her, have she heard anything about what happened to him? Because they're saying something happened to him in that house. Janetta says she doesn't know anything. So they head in there to speak with Charletha's son. They ask him what if he heard about Duke. He said that he heard that he was hit with the ooh-whop and Courtney set him up. He said that there's Facebook posts asking where is Courtney. So White let him know they've been to the house and it's red in the bathroom that's been cleaned up. So he agrees to tell them what happened. He stated he's not going to jail for anyone. He said Courtney came over, his mom, Gerald, and his girlfriend was sitting in the living room.
I really didn't know what was going on until I heard her screaming. The girl, she started shooting them. And after that, it just got worse. And they made Courtney sit in the tub with cold water, and they put all the ice in her.
Courtney was saying, can I get out? I'm cold. They said no, because my cousin can't talk, so you won't be able to talk. So White asked him about what time did this happen. He said around 10, 11 p.m. until 6 or 7 a.m. the next morning. Then they wrapped him in a blanket and put him in a tub and left in Gerald's white truck. He said Gerald is about 38, 39 years old. He has two ponytail braids, but he doesn't know his girlfriend. So they wrapped that up into Gerald Lowe into the computer. He has multiple convictions, including 3 assaults on officers. So now they go talk to Charletha. They let her know that their son already said what happened. So she says Courtney came over to do some work with her. White let her know that he heard that was her plan to get him over there under the influence so she can get information. She said no, Courtney just showed up. So the girl that's some kin of Duke heard him talking and came into the room. She straddled Courtney and cut him across the neck.
He fast forward from my bathroom. When I went to my bathroom door, I seen blood splatter everywhere. Courtney raised up and looked at me, and his face was just...
So she goes to her room, come back about 2 hours later, see Courtney and Gerald tussling on the floor.
He was literally like trying to choke Courtney, and Courtney was...
fighting for air.
That's when the girl came in with cowboy boots on. She's just stomping him.
Then they loaded Courtney up in the truck. The detectives asked, how did the bathroom get cleaned up? Charletha says she cleaned it up herself. So they show her a photo of Gerald and she ID him, but says that she doesn't know his girlfriend, but that Courtney used to date her. So they end their interview, decide to let her go, hoping that she could get the name of Gerald's girlfriend. Now they receive a QT video. They see Janetta enter QT with Gerald's girlfriend. Both grab 2 bags of ice each. So now they determine Janetta is involved. So then detectives take a trip down to Summit, Missouri, where they say Courtney was supposed to have been, and hopefully they could find a truck down there. They get no luck in Summit, and Janetta has disappeared as of now. Then White get a call saying where Gerald may be with a girl named Tiara. They look her up and find a vandalism report that she filed against her ex-boyfriend, Courtney Palmer. So they get a warrant and head to her apartment, make contact with Tiara, give her the warrant papers, and she says that photo is not her. That's Ayler. Her real name is Michaela Riddle. Her and Gerald was staying with her, and she's been wanting to talk to somebody of what they've been saying. So they take her to the station. She said that she was worried because Courtney normally calls her phone. Ayler told her that she would never see Courtney again. This is about to be some First 48 stuff. She said that Ayler texted her yesterday, and she gave White her number. So they wrapped that up, entered Michaela Riddle into the computer. She's 24 years old. So White have enough evidence to get warrants for Gerald, Janetta, and Michaela. And they wait to get Michaela phone records. So White began searching for the truck, located in some apartments. They stake out the truck, then get a call that Janetta had showed up at the station. So White heads down there to interview her. This time, Janetta says when she woke up, Charlitha asked her to ride with Ayler to QT. She did, brought bags of ice and headed back to the apartment.
A bag of ice on the counter. She took the bag and threw it at Courtney's head into the tub. That boy was tortured with hands, feet, hot water, ice.
So they show her the photos. She picks out Ayler. Janetta said that they did Courtney really bad. He kept saying he didn't do it. So they charged Janetta with first-degree M and filed accessory to a felony on Charlotta. Then they find out that Gerald's uncle lives in the apartment where the truck is parked. So they get a warrant for that apartment, snatch Gerald and Michaela up, take them to the station. They start with Michaela first, tell her that she's charged with assault and battery with intent, which will likely turn into an M. She says they don't have evidence against her. White asks her, do she know Charlitha and Janetta? Show her photos of them. She denies knowing them. So White tell her she's on video with Janetta buying ice. They show her the photos of her, and she says that's not her, and ask can she go to her cell. So they end their interview, go talk to Gerald.
Accused of something I didn't do?
Well, if you've never been in a house,
Okay,
why wouldn't you want to give it
You
up?
already have all that. If you're going to sit here and call me pathetic, you should have did that on your own. I want to go to my cell, please. Thank you, woman.
He lawyered up. So they end that questioning with Gerald, arrest Gerald and Michaela, and now they try to locate Courtney. After the news aired, a man called and said Gerald used to live down there in Muscata. He said Gerald was at the property 3 weeks ago in a white pickup with a woman in the passenger seat. So they head to the house, begin checking the property, find something burnt, and believe that it's going to be Courtney. Courtney Palmer endured hours of suffering and then dumped and burned. After examining the remains, it's identified as Courtney Palmer. Gerald Lowe pled guilty to first-degree M, received a life sentence. Michaela Riddle was convicted of second-degree M and received 49 years. Charlitha Mack pled guilty to accessory to M and received 20 years. Charges against Janetta was later dismissed. Thank you for watching. Hit that thanks button, leave me some comments, hit that like button. Stay safe out there. Happy New Year. I'm done talking.
That looks Courtney's size to me.
Yeah, he's a little bit of guy.
That's going to be him, dude.